The early days of Lakewood, when I was a little boy, we've always been encouraged to tell our story and to share our testimony of what God's done in our lives. Because the Bible says, let the redeemed of the Lord tell their story. How many of you know if we've been redeemed, we've got a story to tell? And John says in the book of Revelation, we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. Something powerful happens when we share what God's done in our lives with other people. This morning we're going to hear 3 testimonies. We're going to hear people share 3 powerful stories of how God has changed their lives. Let me introduce to you Alvaro and Angie Espino. Angie, you start.
Good morning. My husband Alvaro was drinking at the age of 17. Within the years, he became addicted to the alcohol. In 2002, he hit rock bottom. He lost his job of 13 years. We were about to lose our marriage. And I just felt like I was at the end of our rope. We had 3 children. I knew that I could not give up on him. So then one day, after watching Pastor Joel on television, we decided to come to Lakewood. This was at the old building. We felt God's love there. We felt welcome. We didn't feel judged. And on that day, we gave our life to Jesus. I really didn't see any change. There wasn't much change. I continued to pray for my husband. And it wasn't until 2009 when I decided to start volunteering for Lakewood. I started in Kids Life. I tried to convince him to also serve, but that never happened. And then one day, to my amazement, he told me he was invited to a men's encounter here at Lakewood.
Alvaro, what happened at that first men's encounter?
Well, at Men's Encounter, I feel the presence of God like I never had before. Something changed that weekend inside of me. It was a turning point in my life. From that day, I have been sober. God restored my marriage. I have my own business. And God blessed my finances and done above and beyond anything I could have imagined.
Alvaro, you told me how people used to see you and how you see yourself now.
Well, the people they don't see any hope in me. No filter, alcoholic. But God. But God. I am free. I am overcomer. Now, I feel like a David, a shepherd boy. Because God, He used me for His kingdom.
I love the fact that not only did your life was changed at an encounter, but now you serve in the encounter ministry. And over the last 9 years, you've never missed an encounter. How many encounters have you ministered in?
The last 32 men's encounters.
That's 32. Maybe I have to ask you. There are a lot of people out there right now who are believing for loved ones whose maybe children or husbands aren't on the right path, who are maybe have addictions or other destructive habits. You waited for a long time for your husband to change. How would you encourage them?
I would just say, keep praying. Keep praying. Never give up on your loved ones. God is just so faithful. So if He did it for me, He could also do it for you.
Amen. Thank you so much. Amen. Thank you. Thank you, Alvaro. Let me introduce you to Terry Williams. Many of you know Terry. He helps lead our volunteer ministry. He and his wife Ashley have a beautiful son and another one on the way. Terry, come tell us your story.
Good morning. Growing up, my parents established a fairly consistent routine of going to church on Sunday mornings. And they did all they could. They did everything for me except for that part I had to control, where I had to just give my heart away. So I could loosely quote some scriptures, but I wasn't living life for Jesus. And when I got to high school, I figured, man, I have you Christians all figured out, once a week, same old song and dance. And then I had a friend, a great friend, came alongside me and totally changed that view. He lived differently. He had this joy, he had this contagious passion. Like, you could tell for him, it wasn't just this religious thing. He definitely had a relationship with Jesus. And I looked at his life and I said, I want that for my life. So inevitably, the day came where he invited me out to church, and I almost backed out, but I'm so glad that I came to Lakewood, where he and his family were attending and serving. And it was just, the experience was brand new. For the first time, the music touched me. For the first time, the message spoke to me. For the first time, it was like God was just stirring my heart, and I gave my heart to Jesus right here at Lakewood Church. Now, up until then, as a high school kid, I had these really big plans for college. I was going to go away and be the life of the party. And those plans were quickly changed in the most beautiful of ways. I'd go on to lead in a student campus ministry. That's where I met this beautiful girl, Ashley, who's now my wife. And we're here, planted, plugged in, serving the church. I get the unspeakable honor of now serving as a co-director of our volunteer teams ministry. And we're committed to raising our kids here in the house of the Lord. And as only God would do it, it just gets sweeter and sweeter. This thing continued to spread through my family. Since I've been saved, my mom and her husband have also rededicated their hearts to Jesus here at Lakewood. We just encourage you with this. If you're kind of a casual visitor like I once was, go ahead and get planted. Go ahead and get plugged in. Get into a life group. Serve on a team. The Bible says those who are planted in the house will flourish. Teens, young adults, know this. Faith is not a far-off thing that you got to pursue later in life. Don't worry about having fun now. Listen, your life is sweeter the instant you give it away to the Lord. And then my last encouragement and challenge to you would be this. Right there in the contact book of your phone, there's so many world changers. You can think of so many people right there in your contact book where you're like, that guy will never serve the Lord. You'd be amazed at who's just one invitation away. Amen.
Thanks, David. These are some good friends of mine, Ian and John Helton. They have a remarkable story. Come on, John.
Ann and I fell in love and married in high school. Soon after, we had 2 children. We struggled to make it. We believed in our marriage. We had fun with our children and went to church occasionally. We worked hard, put each other through high school and then college. Ann became a registered nurse, and I became an appraiser. We retired early and moved to the hill country. It was there that I was struck by a compulsion that brought our marriage down. I took a risk, loaned a large amount of money on a handshake to a close friend. He didn't pay me back. This started me on a long journey of trading in commodities and stocks, trying to get money back. What I didn't know then was that I had become a compulsive gambler. I lived for the action, for the high, for the big win. I had all the character flaws of an addiction. My life was filled with delusions and secrets, planning on big profits while losing them mostly. I would be angry at my family for reasons they didn't understand, and as most addicts do, after many years, I spiraled out of control.
So, 10 years ago, after 47 years of marriage, I finally woke up and realized the full extent of what was happening. I felt that all our hard work was in vain, and John seemed to be in a fog. We were once again in debt, and I wanted off the roller coaster. Then John revealed his inner secrets and struggles to me, and I fell into a deep pit. I had to leave him to survive and become healthy myself, and I did.
I was devastated without Ann. I was alone. One rainy day, the doorbell rang, and I was served with divorce papers. I'd been so preoccupied I didn't even realize she'd filed. I was in the cloud of addiction, but this woke me up. I closed all the accounts, took a deep look at myself, doubled up on my real work to pay off the debts. I realized I was spiritually empty, and for the first time in my life, I began to read the Bible. I took an active role in Gamblers Anonymous. I wanted to be at peace again, and above all, I wanted Annie back and a second chance to make things right and regain her trust.
So a friend told us about Lakewood Church. and John wanted to go. We were already divorced. So we said we would go for inner healing. I even teasingly said, well, maybe I'll meet a man. But God had other plans. The service was amazing. And Pastor Joel talked about things like forgiveness and mercy, God's love and grace. We went to our prayer partner, Lynn Parks. And then after the service, we walked around this platform and I literally bumped into Joel Osteen. He asked John, is this your first time here and what made you come to Lakewood? John said, we were married 47 years and now we're divorced and hurting. Pastor Joel stopped everything and he prayed with us right there, unconditionally. We started our healing right there, right at that moment. Then a few months later, as a personal favor to us, Joel remarried us. Now this January, we will have been married 57 years. We have 4 incredible grandchildren, 2 new great-granddaughters. And if God can heal us, like Andy said, he can heal you. Marriages can be saved, but it takes both spouses to do the work with God at the helm. And with God in your life, it's possible. Now, I shared with you that I came to Lakewood to maybe meet a man. Well, I did, and his name is Jesus.
Stories encourage you and stir your faith. God can still do the impossible. He can bring in your loved ones like he did for Angie. He can break lifelong addictions like he did for Alvaro. He can give you meaning and purpose and direction in your life like he did for Terry. And he can heal and restore relationships like he did for John and Ann. So let these stories give you hope. If you're watching, let these stories give you hope. If God did it for these people, you know what? We believe he can do it for you too. God bless.